Hi, my name's Elaine Raybourn, and I'm sorry you couldn't be here at GameTech 2013, but I want to tell you a little bit about my presentation, which is about designing compelling transmedia experiences, transmedia learning, that is. And if you want me to come by and give you a presentation at your command, I'm happy to do so. So here's a little bit about myself. My background is I'm a member of the principal staff at Sandia National Laboratories. I'm on assignment here in Orlando with Advanced Distributed Learning Initiative, which is part of OSD, Training, Readiness, and Strategy. And we've been working on this idea of transmedia learning, which I'm going to tell you about later. But let me just tell you a little bit more about me. I have a PhD in intercultural communication and human-computer interaction. And I've actually been doing transmedia learning since about 2010. But before that, I started working in games, in virtual worlds, social simulations, and intelligent community systems. So what is transmedia learning? Transmedia learning is actually a storytelling technique where we can expand a core experience across multiple media. But it's not just understanding the medium and the effect that the medium has on the story. It's really about engaging the learner personally and emotionally. So why do we need transmedia now? You know, we're in a position now where we've got a lot of different choices. Learners today have a lot of media that are thrown at them. So we have to think strategically about how we're going to deliver our training and what kinds of core experiences, military experiences, we want to support. So whether it's a scenario-based training or whether it's a web-based training or social media, we've got to be able to link these experiences across media. So what's wrong with this image that you're looking at right now? Well, this learner's obviously overwhelmed, and there are a lot of different choices. What's right about it is that there are diverse choices, and that's really good. But there's no real framework for the learner, and that's why we need transmedia learning. So is this really the best we can do? The image that you just saw? I don't think so, and Mark Long didn't think so either. Mark Long was our GameTech keynote speaker in 2011. He was great. He's a transmedia producer, and he came to GameTech to introduce to us the idea of transmedia, which OSD and ADL has now taken to mean transmedia learning. Here's what Mark said in 2011. Mark talked about this transitional period that we're in right now. He talked about the ways that learners are shifting, how their habits and patterns are starting to change. And all of this is based on the media that we utilize and the way that we consume content. And so we, as educators, trainers, we need to take advantage of these new trends. And so this is how the idea of transmedia learning has come to fruition. So if you want to remember anything, and I had 90 minutes at GameTech, but this is really a good takeaway slide. This is really about the core elements of transmedia learning. So number one, use multiple media and also retain the abilities and attributes of those media to support your message. Number two is tell different stories, but support a core experience and allow each medium to interact uniquely in that story. Provide different entry points for the user into the story. Third, consider the user's lifestyle. What's their daily life like? How do you want them to consume media? Do you want them to be engaged in a multi-user game? Do you want them to be in the classroom at the schoolhouse? Or do you want them to consume bits of information via social media? Make those decisions ahead of time in your campaign. And also consider that learners co-create. And so as a transmedia designer, you're going to have to really be comfortable with allowing your users to co-create the content. I think the military is well poised for this because we utilize after-action reviews where peers can share experiences that they're garnering from theater. So how do we design a compelling transmedia learning experience? Well, one of the ways you do it is start with a good campaign. And so a transmedia learning campaign is actually the purposeful and coordinated and strategic thought of this narrative that extends across multiple media. And remember, the goal is to keep your audience members engaged personally and emotionally. So transmedia learning goals then are no different from any other learning goals. We're looking for positive pro-social behavior change. And we're looking for change that's either intellectual, can be behavioral, physical, attitudinal, or any type of combination. So, making transmedia, let me just list a few of the media you have available to you currently right now. Graphic novels, comics and videos, machinima from a lot of these game-based and scenario-based training systems that we currently have. You also have social media that we can utilize with a lot of the websites like Army Knowledge Online. And you can use web and mobile for episodes that evolve over time. Remember to add entry points into the story via different media, and in our case, use all media, not just digital media, because we are trying to support real learning that needs to be taken into theater, into the real world. Here's a mock-up of a transmedia campaign. I know it's a lot to look at, and you probably can't see all of it right now. That's why you should let me know if you'd like me to tell you more about this later. But basically, what I've done here is I'm taking the idea of live action training as my central core experience that I want to support. I'm supporting that at home station with videos, machinima, and games experience. I'm also supporting it afterwards with virtual worlds like Edge, which is an Army system. I'm also supporting character development, thinking about how we can think about the core experience, what it means to be a soldier or a Marine or a sailor or an airman. How do you communicate that across the campaign? And then finally, there's assessment all over the campaign. Not only are you assessing individual parts of the campaign, but you're also assessing the utility of your campaign. Did you design it correctly? Do you want to put the game before the virtual world experience? Or do we need to have a live action Styx lane training before we go into the virtual environment? These are decisions your campaign can help you decide. So finally, you can apply transmedia. Look for opportunities to broaden the narrative, to talk about what it means for your learners to be part of whatever it is you're trying to convey. Remember to use live action. After all, this is the military, and this situation's a little bit different from entertainment. We're really trying to go for transmedia learning, and a lot of that learning has to be communicated in the real world. So share your experiences with me. Let me know how it goes for you. And if you need help with your campaign, contact me at Advanced Distributed Learning Initiative at my contact information here, or follow me on Twitter.